Hey, what is up? You are back for another video with Datazero. This is your daily outlook prediction for stocks and crypto. This video is not financial advice, should not be taken as such. Please do your own research and due diligence for buying any stock or crypto asset. Now, that being said, we're going to hop into charts, facts, data, showing you what is going on for the day as traders and investors and for the rest of the week. So, if you haven't heard, if you haven't been keeping up on the news, the government shutdown is most likely coming to an end. Now, I am almost certain that it is going to be coming to an end. It has to go to the House. That's going to be happening tomorrow, and then it's going to go on the president's desk. He has to sign it in the law, and then it will go through. So what we are seeing right now, though, is the Senate passed the bill, and the Senate was the main thing blocking everything up. So we had a development here over the weekend where they made a proposal. It got approved by the Senate, and now it's going to be moving forward. So most likely the government is going to be opening. Why do I believe that? Because I believe the Senate was the main problem on why we were not getting the government open. Also, I believe that the House, it's going to pass. And then, of course, Trump is going to sign it because he doesn't want to be blamed for keeping the government shut down. So I think there's a 98% chance that the government shutdown is going to be ending. Now, again, some people are thinking this is why we are rallying on SPY. I believe we're rallying for a different reason, but we're going to talk about that in the SPY section. Also, possible XRP ETFs. We're going to talk about that in the crypto section. But let's go ahead and hop into the meme stocks and show you guys what is going on. So AMC and GME. GME is battling for the key level of 2150. We want to break and hold this level. If we can do that, that is going to be a sign of potential recovery here for GME. You guys can see that we broke down and retested it as support, but then we lost it. We are right underneath it. But the key takeaway from all of this is that GameStop is still holding that $18 to $20 level that I told you would most likely be held for GME. As I showed you guys in the last several videos, there are a ton, and I mean a ton of buy orders here on multiple time frames. So I believe GME will be seeing a bounce in my personal opinion, and we will be using the floor of $18 to $20 as the floor like it's been ever since we had that big push to the upside here in 2024. Again, we hit this low, all-time low here for GME. Then we got this big squeeze move to the upside, and we've been using that $18 to $20 level as the floor ever since. You guys can see that floor goes actually a little bit higher to about $22. So I believe what we could potentially see once we bounce out of this and find a bottom, you guys can see each time we came down to this level, we got decent moves to the upside. I believe that's what we're going to see again. I believe we're going to see a decent move to the upside here for GME. Now, why do I think that? Because we have multiple gap fills to the upside that need to get filled. Also, every time we come down to this level, we see big bounces to the upside. And if we look at the bigger picture, the bigger RSIs are starting to get low. They're starting to get close to that oversold territory. You can see here the daily RSI is at 32. If we went any lower, it would go into that oversold territory. You can also see here that the MACD is starting to curl up. It looks like GME is trying to build bullish momentum and will be able to push to the upside. Once GME starts to go up, GME warrants will start to go up with it. Now, the only thing that's going to be stopping AMC, because I believe AMC is in a similar process, is the vote that's coming up here on December 10th, and that date is drawing near and near. Make sure you guys vote. I'm not going to break it down in this video. I broke it down in multiple videos. You guys already know my stance. Me personally, I did vote no. A lot of people are saying we're stuck in between a rock and a hard place. I don't really believe that. I don't believe that the AMC is going to go bankrupt, and I believe that management needs to do more to cut cost instead of spending like $25 million on a commercial and using our shareholders' value as a piggy bank. So I did vote no. You guys can vote whatever you want. I'm not here to argue with you on that. But you guys can see if AMC gets that dilution, I unfortunately think that the shorts will be able to kick the can down the road. And then once liquidity gets locked up, they'll just be able to dilute, hit up Adam Aaron, he'll sell shares, and then they'll get liquidity and they'll be able to kick the can down the road. And eventually they might even be able to reverse split. I'm not trying to spread fear or anything, but this is what could potentially happen. And of course, it will make the retail's long positions worthless, and then the shorts will never have to cover if they end up getting this thing either delisted or get it reverse split multiple times. They're going to make it so they don't have to cover. So That is what I'm worried about with AMC. GME doesn't seem to be having any plans to dilute. The warrants are dilutive if executed, but people will not be executing it unless the stock goes over $32. This is something that, AMC could have explored. I'm not saying it could have done that, but there's other ways to make money other than using the shareholders as your piggy bank. Again, Ryan Cohen buys shares out of his personal money. Adam Aaron is given shares. So there are some differences here for AMC and GME. AMC, I want to see break back above the key level of 245. If it's able to do so, then that will be a sign that we could recover as well. But I believe it would take GME pushing up in order to see an overall recovery. I want to see a clean break above the sloping support and resistance as well. That would be a sign of recovery as well. If AMC is able to break above that cleanly, using it as support and then push up off of that level. It does look like we're trying to move up, but we have to be very, very careful. If AMC loses the level of like 238, you're going to see a decent dump down towards like $2 even, or 225. So just be aware of that if we do lose that key level of support here for AMC. So this is pretty much everything we're looking at here. Right now, cost to borrow is sitting at 0.47%, and they have 3.4 million short shares here at time of recording. You guys can see the dark pool levels were quite high today and have been quite high, and they've been overall steadily rising, as you guys can see here. And the dark pool volume has overall been steadily rising. Dark pool sitting at 75 today, so just absolute insanity what we're seeing here on the dark pool. And you guys can see current short interest for AMC is sitting at 10.24%. GME is sitting at 1.8 million shares available to short with a cost to borrow of 0.60%. GME cost to borrow is rising. We do want to see it go over 1%. That would be bullish. You guys can see here right now, GME's dark pool volumes for today was sitting at 44%, much less than AMC, but still very, very high dark pool activity. You guys can see right here that GME's short interest right now is sitting at 16.22%. So that's what we're looking at for the meme stocks. Let's go ahead and move into SPY, the overall market, show you guys what's going on there, and then we'll go into crypto and BTC. So SPY did push up towards that 683 price target that we gave you guys in yesterday's video. I believe the next target of 685 will be hit. Now, what do we think's going to happen after that? I think we're going to see a major potential shakeout as we rally up and then snap back to the downside. I do not think this overall pullback that we've seen is done based off everything that I'm looking at. I want to make that very, very clear. But I do believe NASDAQ and SPY are going to get a decent rally to the upside. NASDAQ has this gap fill to the upside that it has to fill. It is dealing with gap fills that it made here in the morning. Those gaps are getting filled, but it still has this gap fill to the upside and has this gap fill to the downside. So I believe what we're going to see is a potential pop to the upside and then a drop down. You guys can see we still have a little bit of a gap fill here left as well on the smaller time frames. And then on the daily time frames, we have these two bigger gap fills on NASDAQ. I believe we're going to see a snap to the upside and then a drop down coming down to fill this gap, but we filled this gap first. This overall is going to push SPY to the upside towards 685 or higher, 688 potentially, but 685 is the price target that I have for this week. I do believe we're going to see a green week for SPY, and overall, basically, long story short, I think we're going to see a continuation up tomorrow. Now, it's going to be a little bit like today was, like I told you guys in yesterday's video. You're going to see a little bit of consolidation sideways, maybe even a little bit of pullback. We might drop down, but as long as SPY is able to hold 681.37, expect continuation up towards 685 for this week, in my personal opinion. If the government does get fully reinstated, that could be potentially bullish, but it's not going to be crazy bullish like some people are thinking. So this is pretty much everything we're looking at for SPY in the overall market. Again, I think we might come down and retest like 6 682.54, but as long as we hold 681.37, expect a continuation up towards 685. And then once we get to 685, I'll be able to determine, are we going to continue up and maybe make a much new all-time high, or are we going to snap down like I believe is coming? But overall, based off everything I'm seeing here, we don't have much room to run here on SPY on the bigger time frames, and momentum is fading. So this is what we're looking at for SPY in the overall market. Let's go ahead and go to BTC and crypto and show you guys what's going on there. Similar to SPY, it looks like momentum is fading here on BTC as well. So we could be coming down to test this trend line, but we are still above this trend line. And that being said, we are still in a bull market. So again, if you're up massively, obviously you want to definitely take profits, not financial advice. But me personally, I am holding for the long term, as I believe Bitcoin and crypto, key altcoins, are going to be worth fundamentally way more when I'm ready to take profits. And again, me personally, I'm looking at crypto as more of like a retirement type thing. So I'm going to stack, and then I'll offload my position way into the future. But right now here on BTC, you guys can see something interesting happening here on the weekly time frame that is potentially bearish. We have this gravestone doji candle just now testing the bottom layer of the band with this red MACD. So this is concerning overall here on BTC. Now we are seeing some potential bullish catalyst here for some altcoins. And again, if BTC were to range, maybe even slightly pull back, but really what you want to see is like maybe an uptrend, we could see a potential altcoin season. It is not over yet. We haven't seen that for this Bitcoin bull run. So we will see how that goes. Now, I always told you guys that fundamentally, I believe that key altcoins are going to be the ones that really shine. Again, you're going to have some outliers here and there of coins that get made and then spike up. But as this overall market matures, I believe what we're going to be seeing is meme coins and altcoins that are not fundamentally sound start to fade out. Now, you guys can see that when we had the major crazy altcoin bull runs, we had them here when Bitcoin rallied up and then trended sideways. We had a crazy altcoin bull run here and a crazy altcoin bull run here. Definitely what you consider altcoin seasons here at these two tops at the later stages of the bull run, because you guys can see we ran up. This is when we had altcoin season. Then we dropped down into this mini bear market, but then we came up, made a new high, and then we had another altcoin season, and then we went into this deeper bear market. So in the later stages of the bull market is when altcoin season comes, and it looks like that's potentially what we're going to see here. And if the fractal plays out, what we're going to see is something similar where we go into a mini bear market, rally up again, make a higher high, and then drop down into a potential deeper bear market. Now, that is what is playing out. If the fractal does play out, you guys can see we've been following this blue fractal. It might be saying that we're ready to top out. If you kind of condense it, it looks just like the top of this double top. You guys can see this blue fractal here is what I'm talking about. It looks exactly like this double top on BTC if you condense it and squeeze it together. I don't want to, well, I guess I can move it here a little bit to show you guys what I mean. But if you squeeze it together, you can see it looks exactly like that top. So we could be seeing a potential pullback here for BTC with all the signs that I'm seeing, but we could have an altcoin season. Again, we're getting potential bullish catalyst. XRP ETF. These ones got approved. They're going to start trading this week. Canary XRP ETF, we've been watching this on the radar. This is one that's been on the radar. I showed you guys that a fewer big names are going to start getting XRP spot ETFs, and you guys can see Canary Capital was one of them. They did get approved, and it should start trading this week under the ticker symbol XRPC. So XRP ETF in full effect. This could be very, very bullish catalyst moving forward. Also, we're seeing the president still keep the initiative, even if Bitcoin is pulling back from all-time highs, keeping the initiative to make the USA, the crypto capital of the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing bullish catalysts happen here for crypto, and we could be moving into the later stages of this bull run, but we could still see an altcoin season based off historical past and context and potential fundamental catalysts that are coming up as well. We're also seeing here like key altcoins like Ethereum are potentially getting ready to break out again because it's using this overall sloping support and resistance as support, which could see a bounce to the upside. So all hope is not lost here for crypto. We want to see XRP get back above the key levels of $2.50. It did break above it here earlier this week. It is right now at time of recording sitting at 239, so it did break back down. They have a ton of these huge sell orders here trying to control it. You can see this huge block of sell orders. They're definitely trying to control this thing. I think to potentially accumulate before it moves back to the upside. I believe that's why they're trying to keep this thing pinned at these levels. You guys can see there's actually buy orders here. Anything under $2.50 is a buy for XRP in my personal opinion, because I believe it's going to be way over that within, obviously this is not a short-term thing. People get into crypto thinking they're going to get rich quick. I believe, 2 to 3 years from now, you're going to see XRP worth fundamentally more, Bitcoin worth fundamentally more, and coins like ETH and other top coins worth fundamentally more. So this is pretty much everything we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen. Again, want to see XRP above that $2.50 level. This is your daily outlook and prediction for stocks and crypto. You guys can see crypto right now sitting in the fear section. So we're coming out of that extreme fear, moving into the fear. Again, be fearful when others are greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful. Stocks right now moving into the fear as well. So this shows signs of potential recovery that we could see on both of those asset classes. Bitcoin dominant sitting at 57.8% and ETH dominant sitting at 11.7%. Ladies and gentlemen, if you watched the end of this, thank you so much. If you want to join the Discord, exclusive technicals, predictions, and information, hit me up on my email, DataZeroOfficial5. It's $100 for a lifetime invite, and you get access to that for life. Payment made via PayPal or Cash App. Once you send payment, I'll send you the link. But if you don't want to do any of that and want to support the channel, just leave a like, leave a comment down below, and share the content. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you. We do have a merch store as well. Make sure you do this most of all. Have fun. Stay safe. Make money. Peace out, fam.